Yeah. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. It's for a public hearing for the road rehab project. First item is the pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any public announcements or anything? We don't have it on here about select board announcement. Is there any select board announcements? No, okay. Okay, well, we'll start the informational here. We don't have a sheet like we had last time for everybody, or?
I printed out the letter.
You had
All
not-
the info, yeah.
Everybody got one of those? Yeah. Okay. We'll start with, I guess, the purpose for the project. We got areas in town, the roads just have no gravel left on them, right down to the roots and dirt and ledge and rocks. It's near impossible to grade them. There's nothing to work with. A lot of these roads haven't had much anything for gravel on them, but except for mud season just to get through. And the current money we put into road work at the rate amount we're putting in, we'd never catch up. We're just getting farther and farther behind every year. By doing this, it should give us enough of a jump on things. The current budget is what, 150, 60,000?
Yeah, 150.
That would allow us to keep up our needs is what we planned, so we could do other roads as we go along. What the plan is to grade the roads on this list, compact them good, and put down 9 inches of crushed granite, compacted. And beforehand, they're gonna go through, the town crew is gonna put in necessary culverts that are needed here and here. Where the work starts. And then the town crew would be doing bulk of the work. Outside of hiring a few dump trucks, maybe a bulldozer. They're gonna rent an extra grader. So they do keep doing some of the town stuff if needed. Along with that project. They're gonna rent an extra grader. To work on that project for the initial part of it, so that we could keep the town grader doing odds and ends here and there. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, is it? Okay. By having a town crew do it, it saves substantial amount of money versus hiring contractors come in and do it. So I think we'd be hiring is be some couple triaxle dump trucks to work with the town's tandem dump trucks. Depending on where. A lot of the roads up on Tower Road and stuff, we use less trucks. As we get out in the Flit Road area, we probably use a couple more just because of the distance from the Northeast Materials. We've got a pretty good price for Northeast Materials because it's gonna be close to 50,000 yards of materials. So they've cut the price down pretty good, so. We did the same approach on Hebert Road and South Hill Road years ago. And we have no issues with the mud season issues on either one of those roads. So it's proven that our method that works. We had, at the time before where we did those roads, we had a engineering firm test the materials. They tested the materials from Bruce's Quarry, Mike's Quarry, Allenville Quarry over in Chelsea, and Northeast Materials, and the granite tested way ahead of all the others as far as hardness. So it doesn't break down over time with the traffic and stuff. So that's the reason why we're sticking with that. It's proven to work well on the other roads we did, so we're gonna stay with that same. Gonna have to haul a little farther in some areas. We feel the material's better for the longevity of the roads. So you guys got to that? Dave, you got anything? Anybody have any questions?
I've got-
Mike?
Go ahead.
Are the rest of the roads gonna be passable before this project starts? Cause
Yeah.
I've been on a lot of these back roads and most of them are practically impassable because of all the bumps.
We were hoping to have 2 graders by the 1st of May, but it's gonna be 1st of June now, we'll have the second one.
Okay.
So they're gonna be doing best they can, it's gonna concentrate totally on getting these covers in where they need to be and getting the other roads shaped up. And then they'll be working.
Okay, so are roads gonna be brought up to par before we start on this list, or are we gonna?
They'll be graded and
Okay.
whatever, normal maintenance.
Yeah.
Right.
We got a good start. We've been the last 3 days last week, 1 day this weekend and all day today. We've done South Hill, we've done Chelsea Road, Baptist Street, Blue Pond Road. Today we worked on Tower Road, part of it, so we're started.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah, we're gonna get around all the roads once before we,
Okay, that's all I was wondering, was,
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to be difficult or anything, I just.
if you're curious about the schedule, I posted this week's on the town website and to our Facebook page.
I saw that.
Yeah, but anyone can always just give me a call and I can tell you what the schedule is, but we're gonna keep everybody updated as we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
If, if we say right here, told you that we're gonna be affected, I'd be lying to you.
That's absolutely no.
We're doing a major project and it's gonna take the guys a couple of months to do it, so.
Yep, that's why I was just wondering if it was gonna be.
Alternative is if you hired out, we wouldn't get, we'd probably lose 5 miles of road that they were trying to get done.
Yep,
So,
no, I get that, I just, we're genuinely wondering, that's all, I wasn't trying to be
no,
difficult.
that's good. Good question. Yes, ma'am.
I came because I'm confused why we're revoting. That whole, I understood it was approved at, town meeting, and then there was some kind of a petition against it, and why are we revoting, and is the budget the same as it was voted on at town meeting?
You want me to handle it?
The budget didn't change. What happened was the bond bank has certain rules that you have to follow that we weren't aware of. They're the ones that's gonna be doing the financing on it. And they had a thing where you had to have it advertised in the newspaper for 5 weeks, is that correct?
Yeah.
And
We
we,
can have it. So to get the bond from the bond bank, we have to follow a very specific legal process that we weren't aware of. But now we know step 1 is hire a lawyer first. So now we've hired a lawyer, but now we have to do everything all over again. Because I only posted it in 3 places, but legally it must be 5. And it has to be in the paper for 5 weeks. And then there was a special resolution that the select board needed to sign, adopt and sign, which we hadn't done. But it was,
So was there a petition from voters that were unhappy with it?
no, we didn't get a
So
petition.
do you want to hear what the rumor that I heard is?
Sure.
The rumor is that you're hiring outside people and you're gonna make the town crew not have any work with them.
No.
It makes sense to me, that's what I think.
Dave, no, you're not, you're all not getting vacation.
It's not making sense, so I thought I'd comment.
Yeah, it's a legal thing, and we need, this lawyer is a special bond counsel lawyer. We need them to vouch for us.
Mhm.
And so we have to do all the steps that they told us to do, otherwise they can't vouch for us and we don't get any.
Red tape.
But it's just for this, because of this bond.
Yes,
Correct.
it's a special,
Because 3 days is usually the state requirement.
right,
for-
yeah, usually the bond back. Yeah,
Yeah.
We thought we were doing everything proper
Yeah.
until told differently.
and what asked,
Somebody submitted a petition.
no,
nobody, nobody.
Voted against it because it was gonna put the local road crew out of work.
Yeah, that's.
You haven't heard that.
Yeah.
So some folks are voting against it, Tom, because of that.
No.
Well, you put them out of that project, you go to this, they'll still be working.
The vote isn't.
But we actually,
The vote isn't tomorrow, it's next week.
Oh,
Tomorrow is the school
The
vote.
school vote.
That's why we're doing it today.
Thank
So-
you, I have it on my calendar, which
No,
one is which.
yeah,
Yes,
no,
you're
they're
right.
very close to each other,
Yeah,
but that
thank
way,
you.
that's why we're doing it tonight, so people can
Gotta go to
have the
the other
opportunity.
place tomorrow.
Our vote will be next Wednesday, the sixth, right here in this
Right.
building.
Yeah.
It'll be 10 to 7.
In reality, we went above and beyond what the bank requirements are, because we sent an actual letter out to everyone in town
Mhm.
explaining it and telling about the public hearing prior to it. They don't require you to do that, but that wasn't good enough, so we had to, here we are.
That clears it up very nicely.
So spread that around.
I
Yeah.
hope my
That's
bad,
great. We all got a very good education.
I mean, a
never ends.
lot of people don't live on these roads that are listed. But if we could get these done, these are the worst ones. If we could get these done, it would allow us to concentrate more on the other roads future. And, so it's an important thing for the town that we've, thought every different way to try to make it work. This seems the only one that makes sense. The only other thing you do is really raise the road rehab budget up. You'd have to raise it, double it in order to ever catch up. And that would cost more every year for taxpayers, and this stretched over 10 years. And the fact is, we're dumping about $30,000 a year worth of gravel and stuff in mud holes every spring. And we're gonna eliminate half those problems by doing this. And so it'll more than pay the interest on the bond. And the rest of it, as far as principal goes, you're gonna spend it one way or another, either this year or all at once, or you're gonna spend it over the years. I mean, it ain't like you're wasting the money, but what we're gonna save on the mud season waste and cover the interest on the loan, it's about $14,000 a year interest on the loan. It's 2.9% interest rate. It's very good. So hopefully everybody will support it. I don't know.
Steve.
Steve?
I've got a couple of things that need to be brought up is, you did grade South Hill and Lighthouse Hill the other day, that was good. Right here, I got a picture of the road where it graded right at the end of my driveway. See that ledge sticking up? It's right at the end of, right on the road in front of my driveway, when they graded the road. And I'm also wondering if anybody has been up that way
Sure, it's a road.
since they graded. You seen that?
Yeah.
You have seen that?
Yeah.
Also, when they graded, if you drive up by David Taylor's, you'll see that the, edges are higher than the outside of the road. I mean, yeah, the outside, and this is for standing in front of my driveway and looking up through it. I wanna know how the rain's gonna get out of the road. When it rains, how's that water gonna get out of there? Can anybody tell me that?
It won't get out there.
That, you know what, that's the same thing I come up with. And there's other spots on that whole road up through there, South Hill included, down through, that are the same way.
We took all the sides off of South Hill, the whole length. Larry went up, looked at it last year.
Yeah, I found some afterwards too, that he had,
Well-
apparently hadn't seen, and they did get most of it, I will give you that.
When you put 9 inches of material up through there, the edges won't be, the road,
Well,
water will get
but
off the road.
this has been ongoing for so long that when they grade it, they grade the center down so much that it's like this instead of like this. And take the outside edge of that grader blade and run that down and go down through so that you have a somewhat of a ditch on the edge and not a berm. Make a huge difference. And down below Washburn's, on the right-hand side coming down, and you must have seen it tonight, because you came down through there, I came down behind you. You see that big hole there where it's washed out? And they graded over? I would have thought that would have been time to put a little gravel in there, because it's gonna rain like the dickens on Thursday.
Can't put gravel in there. I've got 2 foot wide of stone coming to go in there to build that bank back.
Okay, appreciate that, because what I was thinking is, you graded it, but if it rains as hard as it looks like it's going on Thursday, that hole's gonna be a lot bigger. There's gonna be an awful lot of that gravel down in the brook. You know, it's this kind of thing that I get concerned about. The other thing I'm concerned about is if we spend this kind of money on road project that's gonna last 10 years, what happens if 2, 3 years from now, we have another major problem? Where are we gonna, because we're gonna be paying back roughly $100,000 a year on this bond, right? Because $1 million bond over 10 years, pretty easy math. What's gonna happen when we have another problem? How are we gonna get the money to fix that? There gonna be enough money in the budget to take care of that?
Depends what the problem is, how big it is.
We've had some pretty big ones in the last few years.
Sorry.
It rises the FEMA level, that will cover most of it.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean,
You know what I'm saying though? If we spend all our money,
But we're not,
we're not,
we raised our road rehab budget enough to cover the yearly payment. So we still have the original $150,000 a year going into our road rehab budget to use for everything else. The $100,000 a year is being raised in taxes and added to the road rehab budget to pay that payment.
okay,
So we still have our original budget that we've had for the last 10 years, you know, to work with all summer long if there's other issues.
so along with that, and when you have these extra graders and stuff, somebody's gonna show them how to grade the road without having the center lower than the outside edge.
Well, if you think you know somebody that knows how to grade, send them down to the shop, because all I have is a new guy.
I
It's been
seen
here
the
2
new
years.
guy was running the grader the other day, and
All I got,
that's all you've got. And
that's what I got, and he's learning, he's
the
doing better.
only guy I know that I would recommend for that is no longer in the country. And but I mean, there must be people out there that know how to run a grader.
The only way to learn is to run it.
Right, but somebody's gotta teach them,
And
or show them what needs to happen.
And he went through grader school, he was taught by a guy over at Shrewsbury, Vermont, but all he does is rides around behind you and talks to you on the radio, you can't ride in the grader.
Right,
So, you know, hey, it's all seat time to get what you gotta have. And I drive around, I've got a slope meter in my pickup that tells what the crown of the road is. You drive down your lane of the road and it tells you 0, 2, 3, 5%. And as long as that bubble is on the right side of that 0, there's a crown in the road. As far as the edges, once you build the road up, because the road material is just gone out in the ditches and you can't get back. So between grading it and weather, every time the wind blows, you lose a little bit of dust. You gotta build the road back up, you gotta put the material back in there, so you've got something to put in the center of the road without cutting the edge down and dragging that shit down in the road that turns to mud. And it makes that good road material.
just wanted to bring these points up, because this has been stuff I've been seeing, not for the last year, but for the last many years.
Yeah.
And that's why I just wanted to bring it up and make sure everybody is aware, and I wanna make sure that we were still gonna have the budget for current road repairs and such. If, you know, if you're paying $100,000 a year toward the bond back, and you still got the regular stuff, make sure we have the money for that.
the bond is totally separate from the regular
Okay.
budget, totally separate. That's the only way, it's the only way that we can get ahead, is to do it this way, without really jacking taxes up. If we try to add enough to do it, like say, do it over 4 years or something, it'd be jacking the taxes way out of shape. And the interest rate is a really good rate, so,
And you're still gonna be able to do some work on the roads that aren't listed on this?
yeah, but it's just, we're not gonna be able to put the full attention like we do for the whole summer, like a normal year. Cause we're gonna take about 2 months out of it to work on this project, but we're still gonna be, they're still gonna be around and grading and stuff. That's why we're getting second graders, so. Do it, you know, if we hire this out, we probably shorten our list by 4 or 5 miles of what we can get done. And that, we really need to get to this point to ever stay up with it. It's been neglected so long. It's just, there's nothing left to work with. I mean, I went on the Tower Road and some of those roads and your script, there's right on the ledge or tree roots and stones. There's no gravel material at all in some places. So. Anyone else have anything? Any questions? Better ideas?
Money, anybody want to donate money? Yeah. Take that. I'll talk about it. You're gonna have to train your plow truck drivers.
For winter.
Because I've got a lot of stone down on my lawn that I put up into the roadway. And we got about that much where they have an edge on the edge of the road, so. You're gonna have to counsel them, put some shoes on the bottom of them wings, so they're up in the air.
Cause this is not a new thing. This
No,
is-
we do this every year.
We do this every year, we're getting.
Like green turns crushed stone. And then it turns green again.
I have to second that, what a mess. And I also want to say how grateful I am for the road crew. Especially in the wintertime. Excellent.
I'm not that grateful this year. The mailbox took the hit 3 times.
I just finished my lawn today, I think, but no, every time the plow goes by in the wintertime, I am very, very grateful.
Hopefully,
We're
we
glad
won't have to
we're
plow the
out.
roads again this spring.
Because the ones that are in the center, they have to rake all their.
Yeah, mine's terrible, mine's worse than ever this year, but they're doing the best they can and I appreciate it. That's what I keep saying to myself.
If no one else has any questions, this will conclude the public hearing. Thank you for coming, appreciate it.